Hello everybody out there and welcome to this, another edition of a late night Scream Review. This week we're talking about Cobweb.
It's okay, it was just a bad dream. I heard it again.
No more nightmares tonight. Okay, champ?
Daddy!
This is getting ridiculous.
This is an old house. There's bound to be bumps in the night. Peter drew this?
Yes. Is he all right?
Peter has an overactive imagination. No more nightmares. No more.
That's right.
You know, I wish I had someone I could talk to about the things that were happening in my house.
Mom? Mom?
So yeah, this week we're talking about Cobweb, which is a recent horror film scheduled to come out September 1st in the UK and directed by Samuel Bodin. Yeah. So what's the story about? So the story behind this movie is that there's a young boy called Peter who is like a troubled little boy. He doesn't get on in class very well. He has a weird relationship with his parents and he's getting bullied a lot, so he's kind of aloof. You know, his parents are very kind of strange, strict, very controlling. They worry about him a lot. They're kind of overbearing parents. And in the nighttime when he's trying to sleep, he hears weird, scratchy, almost like spidery noises behind his wall, his bedroom wall. And then he starts hearing the voices and they tell him to do things. And that's the story. So what did I think of this film? So yeah, I went to the local Cineplex, the Cineworld, down in Loughborough where I live, to see the early release showing. So I went about, I think it was 8 o'clock last night. I didn't know what to expect from this movie because I think I saw a brief trailer for it about a month ago when I went to see another film for the review. And I didn't really think that much of it. It looked like a kind of film where it was basically about a kind of troubled kid who's kind of in communication with ghosts and they're telling him to do things, bad things. And it looked like it was kind of the parents versus the child, you know. The parents think he's just being paranoid and a bit crazy. And, you know, is it his psychology or is it really happening or is it all in his head? And that's kind of where the film leads you on to begin with. The film kind of tells that story. It's kind of stereotypical. The way the film's shot, it looks very Blumhousey in that it's kind of, you know, very kind of plainly shot, straightforward. There's no kind of real flair in the movie, and and it's shot to look very much like a horror movie. You know, there's just plenty of ambient light on in the house. Even when people are having conversations in rooms, nobody thinks to just flick a light switch on so that they can see who they're talking to. It's all done very kind of horror housey. The standard fare, the standard modern horror fare. And I was kind of going down that trail like, yeah, it's okay, it's well acted, you know, the cast are, you know, working really well together, you know, it's well acted to a certain degree, all that good stuff. There's some minor jump scareage here and there. And it tells this story, and you're going along thinking, oh, okay, I know what this movie is. I've seen this 1,000 times. Anybody that's seen a modern horror film has seen this movie before. Until there's a twist, and it kind of turns out that it's in fact not a ghost. It's not a ghost film at all. It actually turns out that somebody is actually talking to Peter. The person is real. I'm not going to give any spoilers to that, but it is. And it turns out that the parents aren't all as what they seem to be. They're actually, there's more there to the parents. They're not as loving as they first seem. And so that's good. It was a bit of a twist. It's like, oh, okay. And then it takes another little twist. And yes, I saw it coming, but I thought it was quite good of a movie to give us at least 3 twists in the plotline. There are, like, tropey sequences. There's the kind of knocking on the wall. And, very, like I say, jump scares, dark corridors, the dropping of the sound kind of drops out and then quickly bangs up. But not a lot of it. And like I said, the plot twisted 3 times, which was, I thought, unique for a modern day horror movie, quite well appreciated. And it kept me on my toes. I was really engaged. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I went in expecting just a very bog standard, insidious, kind of Blumhousey modern horror movie. Not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it's very formulaic at this point. But it wasn't. It had a little bit of extra flavouring to it than I thought. As I say, I really recommend this movie, I think. I enjoyed it. It was a good, scary flick. The main bad guy at the end, just the kind of bad guy in quotes there, was interesting. It was slightly different. It was like a reveal where they kept showing just little glimpses of the creature here and there, or you see very quick bits of it. It had a really creepy voice. At one point, the main character Peter lets this thing out, and the sequence that follows in the house is just really like tense and crazy and kinetic, and it's all over the place, and there's loads of characters being pulled all here, there, and everywhere, almost a la Evil Dead. And it kind of reminded me of Evil Dead Rise a little bit towards the end in the last third of the movie. It's got an interesting creature with an interesting backstory and an interesting look. There's a really cool, creepy voice, which I'm always a big fan of. I love a voice in the dark, in the shadows, or in the basement talking, come here. Love that stuff. And if you like that kind of thing, then you're going to love this movie. The performances are great. There's no kind of real big standoutish performances. The young boy is played well, but there's not a lot in terms of characterization or kind of overarching character kind of exploration. There's none of that in this film. It's pretty by the numbers in terms of that regard. But I think the mother, played by Lizzie Kaplan, is probably the most standout performance. Again, she plays a really cool duality. Is she sane? Is she crazy? Is she nice? Is she not nice? Is she somewhere in between? And there's a big spectrum there that we see, which is quite fun. But that I think that's probably about all for character performances. But yeah, I think just generally it's interesting, it's well written, it looks great, it's well acted, it's tense, suspenseful, there are some little funny quips and funny bits. It's in line with that kind of modern day horror trope stuff. It's not doing anything crazily different, but there are 2 or 3 twists within the plot that are fun or different and exciting. If you're a hardcore horror fan, you've probably seen these things before, but in conjunction with one another, it creates a really interesting, engaging watch. This is a really good recommend from me. I highly recommend you guys go out there and see it. It's out on the 1st of September in England, in all major cineplexes, so please go out there and watch it. You're going to have a really, really great time. But that's it for this week's Late Night Scream Review. Until next time, folks, stay safe, stay scared, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.